Good afternoon, this is Metloop meteorologist Nancy Koslick here with an update on today's forecast. We're continuing to say goodbye to some snowfall and freezing rain that was occurring earlier today in the northeast. Of course, that does not mean that things are not going to be very slick out there for the rest of this afternoon and this evening, so please be careful on the roadways if you are anywhere from Maine and further south into even portions of New York for the rest of the afternoon. As far as severe weather goes for later on today, we are looking at some development that is already beginning. This is mainly from Kentucky all the way down into the Gulf Coast region, where we're seeing an upper level low with its associated frontal boundaries really coming together and trying to initiate some of this stronger weather for this afternoon. So as far as the threat for the rest of today, this is the bullseye that we're looking at right here, really where these storms have already started to develop. With this, we're looking for the possibility of some very large hail, damaging winds, and we cannot rule out tornadic activity as well. This is, of course, as that Gulf moisture feeds up and comes into contact with those frontal boundaries and that low that's spinning around out there. So definitely something to pay close attention to for the rest of this afternoon and into the overnight hours tonight, because these storms could fire up and be very, very dangerous out there. Now, just because we're starting to see this upper level low track off to the east and northeast over the next day or so does not mean that we're saying goodbye to our severe weather threat. In fact, we're going to keep it in place over the next couple of days because we've got another low out here in the southwest that will do the exact same thing, tracking off to the east and creating severe weather potential for Texas, Oklahoma, and then pushing east over into the middle of this week. So as far as an outlook goes, what we're going to see for the rest of today is, of course, that continued threat, like I was just highlighting for you, from Kentucky all the way down through Tennessee and into the Gulf states for the rest of this afternoon. Now that's with the one system. Heading into tomorrow, we're going to get that other low that's tracking currently through the southwest to move a little further to the east and again start to interact with that Gulf moisture, creating a significant threat for severe weather for much of Texas and heading into Oklahoma tomorrow night. Now heading into Wednesday, we take that threat a little further to the east for East Texas, back into Louisiana and all the way up into southern Missouri. So this is really the same pattern that we've been seeing for the last couple of weeks, and that severe weather is not going anywhere anytime soon. Here's a look at what to expect for the rest of this afternoon and through the overnight hours tonight. We will continue to see additional development this afternoon right around that area that I was highlighting just a moment ago, from Kentucky down through Tennessee and back into the Gulf states, as that upper level low continues to track its way off to the east and northeast. Some of these storms will be very, very strong to severe, and so we could see some very large hail, damaging winds, isolated tornadic activity, and of course very heavy rainfall at times as well. So if you live in this area of the country, please continue to pay close attention to the weather for the rest of this afternoon. Of course, in the northeast, we'll continue to say goodbye to that active weather that we saw a little bit earlier today. That was in the form of rain and freezing rain and snow, but you still want to be careful on those roadways for the rest of this afternoon. And of course, we're tracking our next upper level low, continually moving through the southwest this afternoon, creating some snowy conditions for the higher elevations of places like Wyoming and Colorado, even the very northern portions of New Mexico. But heading into the next couple of days, we're going to watch this low create a renewed severe weather threat for places like Texas and Oklahoma, and then following into the Gulf states towards the middle of this week. So we have not said goodbye to that severe threat just yet, and it looks like we're not going to anytime soon. So be sure to keep checking back on our Facebook page as well as Twitter and Metloop.com for all of your updates over the next several days. Thank you very much for watching this afternoon, and have a great rest of your night.